swear these other podcasts are just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. I swear these other podcasts are just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. Yeah.
Welcome back, episode 29 of the Change My Mind podcast. Wesley Sykes, Nick Fryer, Tim Weisberg at your WBSM 1420 AM studios in New Bedford. You can follow along on their YouTube channel, WBSM 1420 AM. And Nick, Dunkin' Donuts hash browns are the best fast food potato product.
What?
Change my mind.
I'll easily change your mind. Have you ever had McDonald's fries? Have you ever had...
That's so lame.
Have you ever had...
That's so lame.
You ever had Wendy's
You're just
fries?
Gonna go, yeah, I've had all these things.
Yeah, well then how can you think
Prove
that?
me otherwise.
You're talking about tater tots. I see. You know what?
That's
No,
what
they're
they
hash
are.
browns.
I've never... they're good. They're very good. What?
First of all, they're round, so that should automatically disqualify them right there.
That's a fair point.
It's a potato side. It's not. What does that have to do with anything?
And they're cooked in a toaster
They're
oven.
round. What else
So what do you think French fries are? Like, do you think that they're just like
They're fried
magically
in a fry
made?
They're fried.
They're fried in a fry
That's the
oven.
name.
These are already made as well.
These are toasted.
Yeah.
In a toaster.
And when done properly, they have the perfect crisp, the perfect amount of little Parmesan, little cheese oil on there.
Cheese oil? Is that what's
Yeah,
on there?
well, it's a little bit of oil, a little bit of
First
cheese.
of all, I don't think
was
I've ever
putting it in
ordered hash browns at a Dunkin' Donuts and not
Really?
had them be upset that they had to make them for me.
there. Well, I order them on the fairly regular basis whenever I do get.
Like, can I get a side of hash browns with that? I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, I've never dealt with that. What am I saying? I've never heard of that before.
You
were just prepared to
you
go.
I misunderstood him for a second.
You
there.
go to some pretty good Dunkin' Donuts then.
No, I don't. I mean,
Because mine get aggravated that they have to make you anything beyond a coffee.
I
Right,
can't remember the
yeah.
last time I went to Dunkin' Donuts. To be honest, it's been a little while. No, actually, I went maybe 2 weeks ago.
So, Mr. According to Jim, would say McDonald's French fries.
Oh, look at
That does seem right on brand, right?
It's on brand.
Just whatever is the easiest thing, the first thing that comes
The
to
most
mind.
bland
For
choice
those
possible.
toast.
We're gonna have to start a
What
drinking
is-
game.
Tim, what is your?
I actually
fast
I go
food?
Wendy's.
for
Okay.
potatoes. Oh, this might be cheating to say this,
It's a tough one though.
but the what's it called? The chicken place, Chick-fil-A.
Oh, the waffle fries.
The waffle fries.
I'm not a big waffle fry guy.
You're not a big waffle fry?
Nah, it's too much potato. That's my
Normally-
issue with the Wendy's fries.
Normally,
It's too
I'm
much
not
potato.
either, but the ones from there are pretty good. And
Yeah.
sometimes if they remember, they give you like the sour cream to dip them in.
Oh, see, I would
Really
go
good.
sans sour cream on that.
Oh no, it's good.
I also enjoy like KFC or Popeyes mashed potatoes. Those like rib sticking instant mashed potatoes.
Oh, those are good. Famous Bowl at KFC.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what's wrong with McDonald's fries?
It's just so bland. They're
How are they
obviously
bland?
good. No,
Yeah.
it's the answer. It's not what they actually are. It's just McDonald's French fries. Like you don't even give it any thought.
Wendy's is the one that I go with first, but McDonald's seems like an obvious one that's
your
better
first
than
answer was
No, but I'm saying that's an obvious one that's better than yours. And then on top of
I
that,
beg
Wendy's
to-
is
I beg
the
to
best.
I would go. Actually, you know what
I beg to
you know what
differ.
my favorite potato side probably is the Wendy's baked potato.
that's possible. I haven't had a baked
Never had
potato
it
from a
before.
place.
I
in
totally
a long
forgot
time.
that they even have the baked potato, but yes, baked potatoes. I'm not a big potato fan myself in general. Like I won't get fries if I go and get fast food for the most part, but I would have to say
See, I eat the fries first.
a baked potato is my favorite
Wow.
potato side, like
Okay.
anywhere in a restaurant. So.
I just remembered what my favorite one is. I haven't had it since Nam. The Fiesta potato.
Since Nam?
Since Nam.
Okay.
It's the potato Fiesta or Fiesta potatoes, whatever, at Taco Bell.
From the cheesy,
man, those
cheesy
are
tots, pretty much, right?
When
That's
I was
kinda
in
what they are,
college, man, I used to get Taco Bell pretty much like every Friday night, at least in the winter. Oh, I get those all the time. Those are the best, 100%.
See, the whole purpose of me saying change my mind at the end of it is that you're supposed to convince me that it's bad, not just tell me that my answer is bad.
I just
Do you
can't.
know what I mean?
Well, I gave you
just
the
gave
toaster
three
option
ones that were
as-
better than your answer. I don't know what. What do you want from me?
No, you're just giving me three other options. It's
No,
not telling me
I
why
specifically
that it's
explained
bad.
to you they're bad because they're cooked in a toaster,
Well, that was one answer.
And they're round.
and being round is not a good.
Round is
thing.
delicious. So your chicken nuggets? You don't like chicken nuggets from McDonald's?
Are they always round?
They're in certain
oblong,
shapes. The ones like kind of like football shaped. Yeah.
Yeah, football shaped is not round.
It's round.
Rounded, not round.
No, they're round.
Rounded. Is the football round? Would you describe it as round? It's got a point at the end.
Well, if they're football shaped, it doesn't mean that they're actual like football size.
I always remember nuggets being like odd. Like they have like a jagged edge to it.
Some
Not
of them
jagged,
do.
but jagged
They
edge.
have different shapes.
They have like little handles for
and
dipping,
one has a
like-
little like gun. Yeah.
Maybe I haven't had McDonald's nuggets in a long time. I can't remember.
Dunkin' Donuts hash browns, to get back around to the point. My favorite potato side.
Okay, I've tried convincing you by giving you other options that are better that maybe you overlooked or forgot about.
Nah, I feel like it's like you got to work on your case argument. You had all 5 hours to think about it. You know.
Okay, Attorney Wes.
I'm just saying. I would prove, as a son of a lawyer, I would think you would have a better.
My dad is barely a lawyer.
Wow. I hope you're not listening, but hopefully you're following along.
I also hope he's not a criminal defense attorney now.
No,
because
he's a
it
real
costs him
estate.
a lot
He's
of
a real
business.
estate attorney.
He's real
been-
estate.
yeah.
Okay, well, there's not a lot of real estate developers or investors listening to the show. So you're
Bird
good.
law.
They all know who he is if they're listening to me. They always do. He knows everybody. I don't know how. But anyway.
So more than just fast food sides, we're going to be talking about bad movies we love.
Yes.
Right? I think that's like a nice, succinct, kind of snappy way to put it in there, right? Wrap it all together. But before we get to that, some news and notes today. You got some pretty interesting stuff as we got a little Marvel news here.
So Jeff Loeb, who's going to be involved with a lot of the Marvel shows and everything that's going on, they have he mentioned to Deadline the other day that they're going to be doing some street level superhero stuff still. We had seen that with Netflix when you had Daredevil, Luke Cage, which Luke Cage,
all of the Defenders, right?
But Luke Cage to me is not just a street level hero given his powers that he has, and even Jessica Jones, not just a street level hero. And Punisher can hang too.
But they were used on the street, though, right? Isn't that kind of where like most of their comic book stories were?
That's fair. I can't say that I've read them a ton, but clearly, Wes, they should be able to translate in some capacity.
Yeah. So I don't know what is Jessica Jones's power. Is she just like strong,
super strong, and she can. I think in the book she can fly. It seems like in the show she could just jump really far, but not actually fly.
Leap bounds.
Kind of like Wonder Woman.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if she's as strong as Wonder Woman, but it seems like it was fairly
kind of
similar.
Ambiguous. Don't really know. But
Exactly.
Just like overall badassery. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. That badassery with her. She was. There's something
I heard she
about
wasn't
her.
the most athletic looking. Like she didn't look like she could really like throw a punch.
Always very clunky in the show, I felt like. Maybe that's what they wanted. I don't know. But anyways, they're going to keep doing stuff along those lines. I'm sure they'll bring them back at some point. We'd seen along the way that they can't do that right away because of the, I guess, agreement with Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
But this opens up the door to possibly Moon Knight, who I really want to see.
I know you're a big fan. Yeah.
Love him. And I mean, he's kind of like rip-off Batman, but at the same time, he has another layer to him where there's the mental struggle that he has, multiple personalities and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could do a very trippy show on that. I know I remember one series reading, oh my God, I had no idea what the hell was going on. But is there anybody in particular, Wes, that you would want to see on the streets?
I really like Punisher. I feel like they already did a lot of like the similar stories for street level characters. It would just be reimagining them. I do like Daredevil, even though I wasn't fully in on the Netflix series.
Yeah, I did.
And nothing against Charlie Cox. I thought Charlie Cox did a nice job.
See, and that's where I get confused. It was a good acting job, but where does that get factored into this? It's going to be part of some of my arguments today. But
they're just too long.
Oh, that's right. How can I forget it?
They're just 13 episodes in an hour. Right around an hour. It's just you don't need that long to tell a story.
And you just,
I'm not going to go into it.
Yeah,
I
enjoyed those shows. But anyways, and then there was some other stuff too that.
But those would be the two.
Hulu's going to have. Hulu's going to have some Marvel shows too still. We had seen that previously with Howard the Duck and MODOK and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Ghost Rider and Hellstorm are going to be featured in some horror line that they're going to have, and they're going to be other characters.
What is Hellstorm?
And I said it wrong.
Hellstrom.
Yes, thank you, Hellstrom. And I think he's the son of Satan, which I think in the comics is technically Mephisto. I'm going to be honest, this is not stuff that I would ever read. But he's got those powers, and he's apparently somewhat of a good guy. I'm not,
Okay.
not definitely not.
Maybe your anti-hero, if you will.
Yeah, something along those lines. Ghost Rider's still going to be the same actor, it looks like, from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which he was pretty well received. So I think that would be, I think it'll be interesting to see some horror type stuff mixed in with Marvel. I'm always open to those kind of moves.
Yeah.
But what do you got for me for news, Wes?
That looks okay. Yeah, well, I'll wait to see how it comes out. All that stuff.
Yeah, but it's Hulu. I don't have Hulu. You don't have Hulu. Oh,
but you could do that bundle. I think we might have talked about that last week. That it's like ESPN Plus, Hulu Plus, and Disney Plus. It's like a $12.99 a month package.
Ooh.
That you could do.
How many? Now, I know that this is just all coming out, but do we know how many people can be in on one subscription?
That's a good question.
That's
I think
important.
That's still maybe 5 would be my guess. I think that's what Netflix is.
Okay.
Could be mistaken.
Good.
But I could see that number getting smaller and smaller as
I
time
think it
goes
depends
on.
on the tier.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's good to know. That's important. Anyways, what do you have for me for news?
So Shia LaBeouf
I don't know.
is writing a movie based off Shia LaBeouf's life, in which he stars as Shia LaBeouf's dad.
Okay.
Kind of interesting, right? It's called Honey Boy.
Definitely
It's set
bizarre.
to hit theaters on November 8th. Looks very good. I happen to think Shia LaBeouf is like captivating.
Wait a minute, November 8th this year?
Yes.
He's written it already.
Yeah. Oh, it's already out. Like the trailer and preview is already out there.
You saw the preview?
Yes.
Okay.
I shared it on my Twitter at Wesley Sykes _ some late last week, maybe over the weekend or so.
Okay.
So it's filmmaker Alma Harrells brings to life the young actor's stormy childhood and early adult years as he struggles to reconcile with his father and deal with his own mental health issues.
Okay. This sounds really strange.
I think it's very interesting. It comes back like the trailer looks good. I don't know what how else to really describe it. It's just really about his life and how he kind of grows up going from Even Stevens to a major Hollywood actor to his fall from grace and
so it's
his
like
relationship with his father.
So it's not is it biopic or biopic?
I think it's all depending where you put the emphasis on the syllable.
Okay.
But
It's biopic.
Okay.
Biopic.
So biopic. I thought it was biopic. I thought I heard biopic.
Your biopic.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Means you see out of both eyes.
Okay.
Or is that bioptic?
Yeah.
I
probably
think there's a T in there, right?
Yeah. Nice job.
Homonyms.
So is this? It sounds like it's not a biopic.
I think it's
Biopic. Yummy, I'm messed up now.
I think it's somewhat biographical.
Yes, but not. Yeah, but not like more like an autobiography movie. I guess if you will.
I think it's a movie that's loosely based off of his life. Does that answer your damn question?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm asking you a question about it. This sounds
you're
bizarre.
having a tough time having it put the words together.
Yeah, but knowing Shia LaBeouf, that's like
Biopic.
saying being John Malkovich is loosely based on the life of
right,
John
like
Malkovich.
I don't know how much I don't know the guy's life. Like they're not billing it as that, but he's saying that this is inspired by his experience.
This sounds very strange. I actually because
you
it's so
should
strange,
you should see the trailer.
I will take a look at it after the show for sure. It sounds.
Now, typically what happens is when I send the show script and I put something in the news, you would watch it before we go to tape instead of after we go. But, that's...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I asked you questions about it still, and you didn't have anything for me.
You do use the Google Doc format. You should make it as easy as possible. Put direct links in there for him.
Well, no, but what are you calling me, a dummy?
I'm not calling you a dummy. We're
You're the
calling
one
you
that got biopic and bioptic mixed up.
No, I was making
Jesus.
making a joke, but I think the easier you can make it with Nick's busy schedule,
That's true.
the less digging around he has to do.
That's true.
No,
That's a
I
good
mean,
point.
That was my comment.
No, because, well, okay, seriously? You wrote Shia LaBeouf writes a movie based off of Shia LaBeouf's life. I did not, in fairness, I didn't see the November 8th part of it. I just saw that first thing. I was like, whoa. So I didn't know that it was coming out this year. I thought you were saying, if you had has written.
We're saying two different things. I'm just busting your balls. It's no big deal.
I know you are, Wes.
Okay.
Okay.
He also has another movie coming out. It's this weekend. It came out this past weekend. It's called The Peanut Butter Falcon, where he teams up with a young man with Down syndrome named Zach, who's actually played by a Down syndrome actor named Zach Gottsagen.
Okay.
Who's running away from his care home to make his dream of becoming a wrestler come true. Also starring Dakota Johnson. Like, he's having, like Shia LaBeouf, like, the whole reason why I'm putting this out there is because he's having what I would imagine to be a little bit of a career resurgence.
Yeah, and definitely going in a different direction.
He's not doing what people want him to do. Like, did you see American Honey? Like, I thought that was a very kind of like fringe, excellent, fun, good, not fun, but good movie.
I did not see American Honey. I didn't even hear of American Honey. And this one, this Peanut Butter Falcon, the Peanut Butter Falcon, I mean, is that even available?
It's out in theaters right now. Sometimes I wonder why I even put together a show script if you're not going to look at it until 5 minutes before.
Is this coming out? Is this available like in our area though, Wes? I mean,
it could be.
I haven't seen a single commercial for it anywhere.
It could be.
Granted, my TV consumption has been limited of late, but okay. Well, you don't. I mean, you put that there. I figured you would know if I asked that question. Jeez, I just never heard of it.
What do you got in your comic book minutes here?
Okay. So I mentioned to you guys recently that House of X and Powers of X did start up recently. This would have been, I think, 2 weeks ago. No, probably 3 weeks ago. It looks like you're going to have an issue of one each coming out every other week. So House of X will be 1 week, then Powers of X the next. It's 12 issues between the two, 6 issues each. It's a little bit confusing at first, but the art is awesome, and it seems like this is the reset for everything going on with mutants in Marvel. I think if you like X-Men, it's a must-read, because if you're going to be going forward with all the other stuff as they reboot the X-Men, you got to get in on this. It's not too late. And if you're looking to get in on something and you hate waiting for a month, I mean, you have something every single week, it looks like, with this. And it goes until October. So maybe there are a couple breaks in there, but not too much. And these are like extra long issues as well. But that's what I got right now, Wes. So I think it's Powers of X 2 is out this weekend, it's Powers of X or House of X 2 this week. Wes, what do you have for me to stay woke about this week?
So you might have seen this on Netflix this past weekend. It just popped up. I want to say Thursday or Friday on mine. Hit my algorithm just right. It was the first thing as soon as I opened up Netflix last week. It's called The Family. It's a 5-part docuseries on Netflix. It puts a spotlight on the enigmatic Fellowship Foundation, which is a Christian-based group behind the National Prayer Breakfast, which takes place on the first Thursday every February, led by the President of the United States since 1953. I believe that was Dwight Eisenhower.
Okay.
And every president after that. So this is essentially a secret organization that recruits not only certain legislators of both sides, right and left, but it also is like a fraternal and sorority-based group, too, of recruitment, where they have a bunch of men living in a house and a bunch of women living in a house, and they support these ideals that seem like they're Christian-based, but it's really just off the teachings of Jesus. Oh. And it's all about Jesus. They never mention Catholicism, Christianity, Judaism. It doesn't matter. And essentially, it's a way of creating relationships with people that put aside your political differences, and these guys have slowly infiltrated, maybe not even slowly, like all over the country. Like, Tim, have you seen any of this at all? Have you heard about this? So the guy's name is Doug Coe, who was the longtime leader of it. And he was seen to be as one of the most quiet, influential leaders in Washington, D.C., who worked his way into not only just different presidents, has met with every president since Eisenhower, right up until, most recently he passed away with Trump. Mm-hmm. But he's also gone and shared his ways with a bunch of Middle Eastern and African dictators and terrorists and all these other. So a lot of these legislators who have been connected with the family have gone missing for days and weeks at a time. Have been caught in different sex scandals, like I said, associating with known terrorists, and having extramarital affairs and promoting anti-LGBT groups and movements. So these people are just kind of trying to spread their ideals as fast as possible by infiltrating the highest and most powerful parts of government.
God,
so it's based off these books by Jeff Shartlett, who was actually recruited in the early stages of this group here. So it's called The Family, The Secret Fundamentalism at the heart of the American power. And then C Street, which is the fundamentalist threat to American democracy. Very interesting stuff. It's a 5-part, so it's 5 hours, but it's kind of like skull and crossbone-ish type stuff, and like
this is on
secret
Netflix
society.
Now. Wow.
Yeah.
This sounds good.
Very interesting. So it really brings up
and you've watched
the
all
matter of church and state, most of them.
Okay, were you 3/4 away?
3 or 4, yeah.
This sounds ridiculous, man. Like not ridiculous.
And these are like real people. Obviously it's a documentary.
Oh.
It's made to make you slant and see things a certain way, but it's just interesting to know that at the root of this, these people actually exist. They acknowledge that these actually groups, the family, actually exists. It's just a matter of to what extent you actually want to see. How far you want to go down the rabbit hole.
I'm not a big documentary guy, but this seems like something that pretty much anybody could be interested in on some level because this sounds banana land, dude.
It's nuts. Yeah, you see it, and I'm like, okay. I had to like bookmark that. All right,
Does the hour go by quickly? Would you say?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, I may actually make time to watch this. This is I'm so blown away by all of it that I don't really have a question for you off of it, unfortunately.
No, I'm just saying go watch it. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Make your own, form your own opinions on that because I think it's definitely a must watch. Pretty interesting, even if you're not a big conspiracy theorist person.
It's a great sales pitch for sure. All right, that brings us to the main topic this week. So we're going to be talking about bad movies that Wes and I love. Tim will chime in on it as well. Wes, I believe you had 11 movies lined up. I have 10. I noticed you didn't have numbers before we get into what other people had to say on Twitter on the topic. I noticed you don't have numbers next to your list. Did you list it in order of in any particular?
No, not really.
Okay,
it's just kind of what came to mind. I was going to kind of jump around and pick and choose from that list.
Okay, awesome. Because I thought that was a little bit because you could do the worst movies that you liked, what order, or which ones you liked most.
Yeah. I was going to kind of play it by ear on that one.
Okay, so we had a couple people weigh in on the bad movies that they liked. We asked them if you have one in particular that you don't like. So Brandon Lopez at Boston Brandon 91 said Batman and Robin was one of my favorite films as a kid. I used to watch it all the time. Is it bad that I own it on 4K and still like it? I'm a huge DC fanboy. So, and then he put like the hands up emoji.
One of my more favorite ones.
One of your more favorite ones?
Yeah, the emoji, but also the movie too. Like I owned the VHS of that. I don't think I carried it over to DVD.
Did you?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, okay. VHS, I can understand.
I think I had all 4 Batman on VHS. Like Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin.
Okay. Then we got Mitch underscore BYT. Kung Pao Enter the Fist, because it was hilarious, poked fun at a ton of martial arts stereotypes, and had me laughing the whole time. One of my favorite movies growing up. Did you ever see that one?
I think I've seen it on like TV, like made for TV type of movie sort of thing.
Isn't that the one that had like the squirrel where you could actually see its like nuts?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe that was the one. It Kung Fu and all that kind of stuff, martial arts, wasn't really, that was never really my scene.
Mm-hmm. My parents wouldn't let me see that movie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so I think that one missed me, but I think I've caught it a couple times.
Last one, Backcracker, at Dr. Joe Gilmore. I enjoy Invincible with Mark Wahlberg, and I effing hate Mark Wahlberg. He didn't say effing. Something about the movie gets me to watch every time.
Okay, Invincible. I thought that was like a well-received movie, though.
Yeah, so did I. I think it's just the whole Mark Wahlberg angle, which I can understand.
I definitely do get that as well.
Yeah.
As it pertains to Batman and Robin, I think that's on both of our lists. So we can just cross that off right now.
Batman and Robin is not on my list. I have another Batman movie.
Well, I'll start with that one, just because where we have that already mentioned off the list. So it's 1997. Mm-hmm. I have it as a 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb. That's what I saw it at.
Ooh.
A one-time Razzie winner, which was my barometer for a lot of these lists. So it was the worst supporting actor in Alicia Silverstone.
Okay.
But 11 times nominated, 1998. For Worst Picture, Worst Screen Couple, and George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell. Worst Supporting Actor, and Chris O'Donnell and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Worst Supporting Actress, and Uma Thurman, and ultimately Alicia Silverstone. Worst Reckless Disregard for Human Life and Public Property. That's like
I could
some
see
of the
that.
fun awards there. Worst remake or sequel, worst director, worst screenplay, worst original song by Billy Corgan. The end is the beginning is the end. That was the name of the song.
I actually believe that was a Smashing Pumpkins song, not just Billy Corgan.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he wrote it. Maybe that's why he's getting the credit
It wasn't
for that
a bad
one.
song.
Yeah.
No, it was okay.
11 nominated, Razzie.
There aren't a lot of bad movies I can say this about. This one I can't even get through the whole thing with watching it, Wes. Just every time I just cringe at some
I love
point.
it. And the GIF that you even used on the preview with the rubber lips, like that scene always sticks out of my head for some reason.
See, that was one of the few scenes that I can remember from the whole thing. But
I'm surprised it even had a gifable moment. Like it was like I didn't think it was that memorable.
Bane is in the movie too, right?
Right.
That's another word too,
Yeah.
where he gets
Terrible Bane.
the venom all pulled
Right.
out. I remember seeing that.
And you can
too.
just hit his chest and he starts pumping, and of course you get the bat nipples and the bat.
Well, in the comics,
credit
it's a
card.
little different than the Tom Hardy Bane that we were used to, because it was like, didn't he have did he inject it, Tim, with the venom, or do you remember how it used to work?
I don't remember how it worked in the comics.
But
no.
he actually looks more like
that
one.
comic book.
But
Yeah,
I like the way they did it with.
But the fact that he was just dumb ogre that was, working at the whim of Poison Ivy.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like an overgrown henchman.
Right.
So I'm gonna come in hot to start things off then, unless you had something else to say about
No,
Batman and
that
Robin.
was just about it.
All right, so I'm going to come in hot on this one because you don't know most of my list, Wes. I'll start with one you don't know. So I'm going to go with X-Men Apocalypse.
Wow, really?
Yes, which is a 2016 movie, 7 on IMDb. I love it, but just the way everybody received it,
Oh, I know.
didn't think it was a 7. Like, based on
I'm surprised that got that high of a rating, actually.
I think that's the highest on my list. No, second highest on my list. In the 1980s, the X-Men must defeat an ancient, all-powerful mutant Ensabanur, sorry, jeez, that's not right.
It doesn't sound right, but I'm not sure if I could do much better at this point.
Who intends to thrive through bringing destruction to the world. My big thing is Magneto was my favorite character in the X-Men prequel, reboot, however you want to call it. He was phenomenal in this one as well. I mean, I absolutely loved him.
There's not much Michael Fassbender can do bad, I think. I don't even know. Maybe the, what are those, Assassin's Creed movies? But I never saw those.
You know what? That should be on my list. That is one that was perceived poorly, and I actually like that one too. I totally forgot about that movie.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. That would be on my list for sure. I mean, but even then, I still have 10. But he was good in that one. I don't know the video games well though, so I don't know.
It's the Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. That's so bad.
That was a bad choice.
Look, it was bad. I didn't think it was bad where it ruined the movie, because I get caught up in some of the other actors, and I like Nightcrawler. He's not in there enough to really love him, but I thought Xavier, McAvoy's good in that too. I enjoy Salak's presence. Well, you don't like Xavier in that?
No, the movie is just kind of black. Like, I love that storyline in the X-Men the animated series.
Yeah,
obviously it's coming off of Days of Future Past, which was like maybe the height of the X-Men series as a whole.
At least for the prequel. I mean,
I might even say
I have to
overall.
agree with Wes. I think it's probably the best one overall.
It was coming in with a great. So you kind of have this hype, and you think like all these MCU movies, even though it's not an MCU movie, like all these comic book movies are starting to like reach their peak, and this was just like,
yeah. Look, I'm not saying it was a top 10 comic book movie, or maybe even a top 20 necessarily. Yeah, probably not even a top 20, but I enjoy. There are parts of it where Angel is much better than he was in X3.
Well, yeah,
not the same much.
I was gonna say
he was pretty awesome. I mean, when he gets the blade wings, those are freaking sick. So I mean, the action was pretty cool in the course of it too. So there were a lot of things that I liked in the course of it all. I understand Apocalypse was a problem, but I don't think a movie has to rely solely on the villain. I can never understand that. But yeah, so we'll start off there with me.
I think that's a good place to start. I'm gonna go back.
Can I just interrupt? That's a weird statement. That a movie doesn't have to depend on the villain.
It doesn't have to depend on the villain.
But I mean, generally, you need an antagonist for a story to progress with dramatic tension.
You need an antagonist, but do you think the movie is only as good as the villain?
I think, for a lot of movies, I think that's 95% of the time.
Comic book movies.
So. What about it? What if a good guy, a protagonist, can never make it?
Well, we're talking about a different kind of a movie. A comic book movie is a different story. Like Forrest Gump doesn't need an antagonist to get through that story. But in a comic book
I thought
movie,
Jenny was a major BITCH.
she did turn into one, yeah.
But if you have, but wait a minute. So if we're being, Deadpool, right? Was Francis a great villain? I don't think so.
No,
But I love that movie, and Wes, you like that movie a lot, right?
I do enjoy that movie.
Okay.
But
what
I
about
think-
Fire Fist in Deadpool 2? Did you like Deadpool 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked Fire Fist though.
I thought Fire Fist was pretty meh.
Yeah.
A little too. Well, I mean, he's a teenager, but whatever.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. I just think you need a strong villain in a comic book movie and in a Star Trek movie.
if you have a strong anti-hero, which Magneto is, I don't think you necessarily do. That's my big thing.
All right, how about this though? For a movie about apocalypse, you needed to have a strong apocalypse.
Yeah, the movie. I mean, he was
It
in the
hurt
title.
it substantially. It
Yes.
hurt it substantially. Absolutely, I will agree to that. But it doesn't. It's not like this unwatchable piece of trash that it gets treated as. Is my thing.
No.
Because Magneto. If you take Magneto out of it, I can't. I wouldn't.
And
have
Olivia
time for
Munn's
it.
in it as Psylocke, so
She looks. I mean, she's.
Yeah. Okay. All
the
right.
10 seconds she's in the movie is worth it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it's not all that long. She's in there.
I did enjoy her presence too.
This movie has a great antagonist, if you ask me. Dr. Lovelace is throwing it back to 1999 to Mr. Independence Day, Mr. 4th of July. Will Smith, Wild Wild West. 4.9 out of 10 on IMDb. Had a year high 9 times nominated at the 2000 Razzies. One was Worst Actor in Kevin Kline. Worst Supporting Actor in Kenneth Branagh, which is Dr. Lovelace, I believe.
He also directed the first Thor.
Oh, did he? Which one of your favorites, I think.
He's a Shakespearean actor. That's what his
okay.
background is.
Tim,
Well,
I may
this
or may
is-
not have gotten logged out of the computer.
This
Anyway.
is very embarrassing for him then to be nominated for the Razzie like that. Worst Supporting Actress, which was Kevin Kline as a prostitute in that movie, which was a nice little thing.
Oh.
But also one for Worst Picture, Worst Screen Couple, Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, Worst Original Song.
So I always remember this for the song as a kid. And
I thought that was a good song, The Wild Wild West.
yeah, and I never saw the movie. So
Oh, yeah, so this has the big spider, which
That's-
you might have seen in the Superman Returns. What was the documentary with Nick Cage as Superman and Kevin Smith?
Tim, what was that one called?
I forget the name of it.
Oh, the one that you said was on Hulu, but it's not on Hulu.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
But
Anyways,
that comes back and makes its big. It's just a really big budget, awful movie. I saw it in theaters. It's tough. It's one of those movies where, like a lot of these movies, that was one of my main criteria for it is if I see it on like TV, TNT, TBS, do I still stop and watch it like to like a commercial break or something? And that's the case with most of these movies.
okay.
I'll say this though, that movie might have had a big influence on the interest in steampunk.
And the interest in steampunk?
Yes.
Like the music?
No, steampunk. What's the aesthetic? You know, people that dress up in like steampunk clothes.
Oh.
Like with the goggles and the trench coats and all that
Oh,
stuff
I
because
see.
the
Oh,
whole
I
movie
see.
was very steampunk.
Yeah.
You know, it was like this Wild West technology.
You kids in your fancy vernacular.
I thought that was just like a Hot Topic thing.
No, steampunk is not. It's not. I don't think it's what you're thinking.
I don't think so either.
You thought
I
it was-
can't
you thought it was
picture it in
music
my head. Well, I
first.
thought it was
People-
steampunk was that at first, but then I'm thinking it's like trench coat.
It's very much stuff from
Zippers.
the Victorian era.
Oh, okay.
So if you-
like Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. So it was like that, but with technology as a part of it. So it's like, mechanical stuff.
Oh, Peaky Blinders.
Okay. All right, I can see that. All right, I
I
got
forget.
that.
Have you watched Peaky Blinders?
No, I can't understand English accents, so I just refuse to watch that
Oh,
stuff.
that's
It's just
such a good show.
gibberish.
Oh, I love that show. I can't recommend that one enough. Subtitles, though. Got to do it.
All right, what do you got?
All right, I'm going to go with one that actually came out this year. Now, look, whatever. It came out this year, 5.2 on IMDb.
Okay.
Hellboy.
Ugh, yikes.
Based on the graphic novels of Mike Mignola, Hellboy caught between the worlds of the supernatural and human, battles an ancient sorceress bent on revenge. I don't think they did a good job for the mainstream people. I like the average listener or average viewer, I should say.
Yeah.
I stand by that firmly. However, my brother liked it, which I'm stunned by because he
Were
didn't
the first ones even good though?
I like the first ones. I think. You see, I would have had the first ones on the list, but I thought they were pretty well received. The first one,
I guess,
more so
but
than the
like,
second.
Yeah, the
I
second
don't
one
know.
wasn't as well received.
The second one,
They
one
all
was
kind of suck to ask, if you ask me.
really. What do you not like about them? I mean, do you not?
They just don't do anything I don't care about. Hellboy.
Okay.
It didn't do enough to ingratiate himself.
It doesn't mean anything, right?
Yes. Yes.
The thing is that I think that the 2019 one is representative of some of the wackiness that you see in the graphic novels, which I have read a fair amount of them. I haven't read all of them, but I do like them a lot. I think that David Harbour.
Yeah.
He plays the character very well.
He's
don't,
part of. He's the third David, John, and Jim.
Don't do that to me.
He's the one that couldn't hack it as a football player.
Right. He was a long snapper.
He did pretty well for himself, I would say. But I think he plays the character very well. There is some stuff that's a little bit. There's some stuff that's just too much for people who are the average comic book movie fans. But if you like the character and you can allow yourself to, if you've read the books, you'll appreciate it, and that's why I like it. But I would never recommend it for you, Wes. I would never in a million years.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if that would something that would even grab my attention. Like I said, usually what I'm drawn to is mythological stories. So this is like kind of setting up my next few rounds here. I'll start with The Last Airbender, 2010 movie, 4.1 out of 10 on IMDb. Widely considered to be one of the worst movies of all time. 3-time Razzie winner, including Worst Picture, Worst Director, and Worst Screenplay, all taken home by M. Night Shyamalan. Child actors are the worst.
This is it's the Nickelodeon show? Is that what it's based off of?
I think so, yeah. So there was also a series of books, too. Which that was based off of. But that is... so it's a great story. I love the idea of it. It was just... I recognize it as being bad, but I just love it.
Do you?
I just love it, yeah.
Knight's got a few that could be considered some of the worst.
Oh, yeah, The Happening.
Devil.
The Lady in the Water I saw on a whole bunch of lists.
Although I don't know, did he direct Devil, or was he just the writer of Devil?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Devil.
It's where a bunch of people are trapped in an elevator, and one of them's the devil.
Oh, wow, okay.
It sounds way better than it was.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound that good either.
The Lady in the Water was one that I didn't hate when I saw it, but
I never saw that one.
It's been so long since I couldn't include it on this list. I only saw it one time. Paul Giamatti's in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought
that's also usually a knock against it for me too. I'm not a big Giamatti guy.
And these are like, if I can't fall asleep at night and I'm just up and I'm scrolling and I see like a movie like this, or like I won't get into explaining it, this one as much because it's a little bit more well received, but the Percy Jackson movies, I just love those, like, I don't know, like mythological Roman, Greek, god sort of stuff.
Yeah, I like that stuff too. Generally speaking, I couldn't think of one for this list though. What was the one that was 300, and then there was another one made by this. It must have been Snyder, right? Because he's the one that made 300.
I don't know if he did the second one, but it was like the rise of the 300.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's also the same woman, Cersei Lannister, is in it.
Oh, yep, that's right. I thought that one was.
I'm not sure if he Snyder directed that though.
It was shot the same way, so maybe it was people who did the cinematography.
It's that same type of style. Yeah.
So that movie was like, I wouldn't put that on my list either. It was. I would say it's fine. Like these are ones that I enjoy and I would watch again. Let's see. I'm going to go with one that I did mention before the show. I'm going to go with Mr. Deeds. 5.8 IMDb score. It came out in 2000.
This is where I disagree with. I think this is just a good movie.
Okay, when we listen to some other shows, I feel like it's not well received. When I talk to other people, I feel like it's...
I think it's a second-tier Adam Sandler movie.
Wait, Mr. Deeds is the one where the opera guy craps his pants, right?
Yes.
Oh, that alone
That's a funny
right there.
movie.
Yeah, that scene right there.
I thought it was a funny movie, too. I feel like people that I talk to don't like it. That's my issue.
Now, this might be a case of where you have like a straw man. Because when we were talking about this before the airing, it's like... finding that maybe the one person you think doesn't like it and then extrapolating that out into...
No.
I think people feel this way.
That's why when you brought it up, because I thought Waterboy was one that was considered a bad movie because it never gets brought up when it's Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
So now this is like the Adam Sandler argument is actually like probably a nice spot to have right now.
Yeah.
Because I think in a lot of comedies that I came across, it's very easy to pick Adam Sandler movies. Mm-hmm. The movies that I would not consider to be bad by Adam Sandler are as follows. Tier 1, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. Top
Untouchable.
Yeah, great movies.
Yep.
Awesome. Very what's the word? Impressionable on kids our age, people our age. Second tier are the Big Daddies, the Water Boys, the Wedding Singers, the Mr. Deeds.
Yep.
Anything below that don't mess with the Zohans, the Little Nickies, which I have on my list, the Grown Ups, the 8 Crazy Nights, the Jack and Jills, the That's My Boys.
Jack and Jill, you're getting to a whole different lower level.
I know,
Yeah.
but everything is all down there. But that's the after tier 2 with their bad movies. That's my demarcation line.
I would say no, because there's a tier of movies that were decent and very successful at the box office.
Like the Grown Ups?
Grown Ups. I think The Wedding Singer and Big Daddy are probably his 2 most widely accepted movies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's in tier 2. Those are good.
He's saying that
All
they're
right.
better than that.
So then tier 3. So Zohan, you're putting in there.
Zohan was such a hot mess. Oh God, that was such a weird movie.
But it's such a great movie.
No, see, the problem was I saw it with my parents, and I told them we shouldn't see it with them. That was such a.
Apparently, you don't like Fizzy Bubble.
I don't like a lot of things about that movie. God, that was so uncomfortable. I saw that with my parents. Role Models, Step Brothers.
Then how bad
The
is the
teabag scene. Oh God, it was so.
how bad are the
uncomfortable.
Netflix original Adam Sandler movies? Then
Oh,
they've got to be like below.
I'm not even sure if they're rateable.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't even watch
But
them.
my point is that I think
Mr.
Deeds, Big Daddy, some of those movies, like I'm not sure if those qualify in my estimation.
See, I feel like Waterboy deserves more credit than you're giving it to. I've never understood that why Waterboy's so.
I like the Waterboy.
You're the
That's
only
in
one
that
of us
second
that could have
tier.
passed that test.
I just think that it's not as popular.
It's so quotable though.
Well, Bobby Boucher is considered to be like one of the more memorable sports athletes. I think, like movie athletes.
Not on my list, but kind of involved in this comedy conversation. Ricky Bobby, good movie or bad movie?
It's a great movie.
Great movie. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can call that a bad movie.
Okay. I just never understand why that one doesn't. You always get Step Brothers, Anchorman, and then like those are the 2 I like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
Not to interrupt you, but speaking of bad movies, I started trying to watch that Sherlock Holmes movie.
I heard.
Oh
very
my
bad
God,
things.
was it
Yeah.
bad? I couldn't even
I heard
finish
very
it.
bad things.
Remember I talked about how terrible of a lawyer my father is? My dad is also a Will Ferrell loyalist, and he watched that, and I think he said it was not that bad. And I was like, Dad, you're a liar.
No.
You're a liar. Yeah. He's not a terrible lawyer. He's just not a real lawyer. That's different. Sorry. Just want to put that disclaimer out there. But anyways, so that's enough on the Adam Sandler front. What do you got next? Wes?
Okay, so like I had Little Nicky on there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
5-time Razzie nominated. Adam Sandler won for worst, most annoying fake accent. The worst. The most unfunny comic relief in the Talking Bulldog won.
I don't understand how that's even an accent. It's a speech impediment.
Well, this was also in 2001, where things were probably a little bit more not as policed.
And speaking of quotable, like people talk like Little Nicky.
All the time.
It was worse than Borat. Like where everybody
Yeah.
was talking like Borat after that movie. It was worse than that.
Let me hear your little Nicky.
Popeye's chicken. Awesome.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's what I remember as a kid, because I didn't see it until I was like 13, and it came out at least when I was like
And the
7-ish.
The Bulldog, you know who did the voice of the Bulldog?
No.
Robert Smigel. Who
Ah.
went on to
doesn't
do
mean
Triumph. He went on to do Triumph, the insult comic
Oh,
dog.
okay, yeah.
And he did all the Saturday TV Funhouse on SNL.
I see. Okay.
Oh yeah, right. You don't know who Ace and Gary are,
Nope.
right?
What's your point?
Well,
They did that.
if you knew it,
Oh, okay.
he's actually a pretty talented
You've
guy.
been trying to take me down a notch all show, Tim.
He's
so I
a
don't
pretty
appreciate
funny.
it.
You probably have heard some Robert Smigel stuff. you just
Probably.
don't realize
Well,
it.
I mean, I've watched Little Nicky, so there you go.
What do you got?
Oh, that's right. That's me next. Okay. Let's see. Where do I want to go from here? All right, I'm gonna ease you in on this one a little bit, Wes. I'll start. Yeah, I'll go here. Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. This is the highest rated one on my list. 7.5 on IMDb. Came out in 2005. I'm not gonna read the synopsis. Everybody knows what Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith is.
Now, interesting that you chose what I would imagine to be the highlight of the prequels.
No doubt.
I told you I'm getting you warmed up.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you want me to go right into the next one too?
Well, you might. I mean,
Yeah, might as well.
you
At this
might as
point,
well.
so I did not put Clone Wars on here, though I don't hate Clone Wars like everybody does.
Okay.
And if it comes on, because I haven't seen it in so long, I see it so infrequently,
Do you mean Attack of the Clones?
whatever. What did I say?
Clone
Clone
Wars.
Wars.
Yeah.
That's the show. Sorry. Okay. Which I did watch that, and I actually kind of enjoyed that.
I
But
think most people like Clone Wars.
yep, Attack of the Clones, I didn't hate. And Phantom Menace is on my list as well.
You enjoy Phantom Menace? You enjoy the pod racing and Jar Jar Binks?
You
and all that
love
stuff?
long extended scenes about trade
I
federations?
never understood the hate for Jar Jar Binks. My brother loved him as a kid, so I liked him. Okay, I didn't love him.
I think it was made for the kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a kid when it came
Mildly
out.
That's what I mean.
racist.
Yeah.
Mildly racist.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, towards black people?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He talks jive.
Oh, okay.
Misa Jar Jar Binks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good look. They could have done that in a different way.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that at all. I didn't even know.
Now, I was listening to
Wow.
a podcast with Blake Anderson, who was the
yeah.
long hair guy from Workaholics, and he said Jar Jar Binks would have been solved completely if he was just a stoner the entire time, and then would have solved it completely.
Fair.
Yep.
Also,
Everyone
though,
would have loved him.
not the most racist character in Phantom Menace, though.
Who is?
That would be Watto, who is so obviously Jewish.
Oh, now he ran.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. I could see that. And the other thing is too, they could have turned Jar Jar. I guess there's been rumors. You go on YouTube and there are so many Star Wars fan fiction things where Jar Jar was supposed to be the ultimate Sith Lord, like above Palpatine. And if you look at it, like you know the big. I don't know if you remember this, but he does like this big flip into the lake before he takes Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan into the Gungan.
It's been so long, but yeah, okay.
He does this crazy big flip, and someone points out, and there are other things, but they never. No one ever does anything on that level of like athleticism, besides Jedi. It's Jar Jar and the Jedi. That's it. We never see it from the other Gungans or anything like
Wow.
that. There were other things too, but that was one that really just wow. I mean,
Maybe he's like a Vernon Golston type or someone, or Pete Marinovich or something like that, who's just like a combine freak. But when it comes time to actually like producing on the field, it's like, sorry. But he is like 40 rep. His 40 time is like through the roof or
getting
something.
after it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He also later became a senator.
Yeah, that one's a whole.
Which-
Jar Jar Binks?
Which would
he
have,
was a senator.
that was another thing too. Is like, how can an idiot like Jar Jar get into the Senate? Well, he's a Sith Lord. He uses mind tricks and things like that.
Well, he wasn't an idiot.
Well, okay. You see, I mean, if he was a Sith Lord, he wasn't an idiot. But I like Qui-Gon a lot too, and I love Darth Maul. That was
Darth Maul, yeah.
That pissed me off so much. I mean, they are just unbelievable when it comes to killing off kick-ass looking characters. And I like Obi-Wan.
But they maybe brought him back, right? I mean,
They did bring him back. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle that whole thing because obviously they're reassessing things. But yeah, so there were some things about, and I liked the pod racing. Yeah, I did.
I
I'm
did
not
like the
afraid to say
pod
it.
racing too. I do remember that.
The video game was sick.
was awesome.
Oh,
The
that
video
thing
game
was
was
dope.
awesome.
But yeah, so that's my case for Phantom Menace.
Okay, I got Fan 4 Stick, the latest version of Fantastic Four, the 2015 version, 4.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh no!
Again, I like Miles Teller. I like Michael B. Jordan. I think Doctor Doom is awful, but I always enjoyed the idea of like a really genius young Reed Richards.
Who was Dr. Doom in that one?
I couldn't tell you his name. It's not anyone like
The
that
guy
was
from Nip
recognizable.
Tuck was in the other one, right?
Yes, yeah, he was in the original. Right. But the young, like, baby Reed Richards, like, when he's just figuring everything out in elementary school and smarter than his teachers, and, like, he's in, like, the back garage of his house, like, tinkering with things. I always loved that. I don't know. That just does it for me.
Toby Kebbell.
Yeah, I don't think it was anyone.
That's who Dr. Doom was. You see, you know what the thing is? I knew right away this was going to suck because it's Fantastic Four. I refused to see it because I knew it was going to be miserable, and I don't like the Fantastic Four. I like Thing. I like Human Torch. Not a fan of the other two.
I hate the Thing. The Thing is, like, my least favorite.
He's the best one of the four easily. And then
He just rocks.
Miles Teller.
Never did it for me.
I just have no patience for that guy. I think
You don't like Miles Teller?
No, God,
Oh,
no.
man, it's great.
I probably would have seen Whiplash by
He's
now.
going to
if it
be in
wasn't
the
for
new
him.
Top Gun.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's Tom Cruise's kid.
I'm gonna have to see that for the show. I got to see that.
It's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, 3-time Razzie winner,
Ooh.
worst picture, worst remake, and worst director, nominated 5 times. Worst on-screen combo, the entire Fantastic Four,
I like it.
and then
good.
worst screenplay,
So I know
which I thought was hysterical. The entire cast of Fantastic Four.
So I know you just looked up the Razzies. I have no idea how familiar you are with them. Do they make up stuff, in a given year with things, or do
Do they make up like categories and everything? No,
Yeah.
I think they're pretty.
set in stone? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mine that one, Wes, is probably the worst one you've said so far. And
so if we're going by IMDb numbers, Last Airbender is what I have is 4.1. And I had another one.
You had one that was a 3 somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
Okay. You know what?
7.
I don't know which one. If you maybe sit between sit through Batman and Robin or Fantastic Four, I don't know which one I would pick. Like which one. I don't know. I'd probably go with Fantastic Four over Batman and Robin. I don't know.
But at least Batman and Robin, you could have some laughs too. Like I think Fantastic Four takes itself too seriously. Like Batman and Robin,
I've seen parts
kind of like
It was supposed to be tongue in cheek. So
Yeah.
Last Airbender, I saw the cartoon a little bit, but I have no idea what's in the movie other than the characters are similar. Anyways, I'm gonna go. My next one is Justice League, 6.4 on IMDb, 2017.
DB database.
Did I put BD on all of these? I put BD on all of them, and it's. God. If I say a score, guys, you know what I'm referring to.
I think it actually like Internet Movie Database. Like I think that's what.
Oh, really?
I think so.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going for.
If it helps at all.
So the big issue with this that I felt like a lot of people had there were 2 big issues. Probably 3. So it was Superman obviously being overpowered, Steppenwolf looking like crap, and then Henry Cavill's mustache. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. The only thing, the Cavill mustache pissed me off to no end. It's like, dude, I get it. I get you have the other movie going on. Just in general, like, how do you guys not figure that out? How do you not make it better? Steppenwolf, it was pretty bad. It was bad, but it didn't bother me. It didn't.
But, it wasn't even like the character or like the CGI, that it was just like a CGI big bad. Like, he just didn't have any development whatsoever. He was just like a stiff out there.
He was just stiff. He was just there for them to pound on him, and he was very strong and overpowering outside of Superman, which then he comes in and saves the day. But, like, my thing is, there's a lot of stuff where I will just go in and watch it and try and give it like a blank slate and say like, whatever happens. I have no idea what to expect, or I'm going to allow myself not to expect anything. With Superman, you just know he's going to go in and kick ass. It's a fact. It's what it is. So when I accept that, I don't mind him coming in and doing that stuff. My biggest thing is Aquaman was awesome. I really like Wonder Woman a lot too. I know you are very much anti-female superheroes.
Wow.
But
I love Black Widow. I love Scarlet Witch.
How you feel about Captain Marvel?
I thought it was a pretty crappy movie. There's actually like a lot of more tie-ins between me not liking Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, as they both have like ambiguous powers.
Okay. Yeah. No. That does make sense a little bit. But either way,
and they actually like don't really have like much depth at all to their characters. Like it's just kind of like
I think Wonder Woman has some depth to her.
Wonder Woman more so.
Yeah,
I don't find this to be a sexist thing. I find it to be an elitist thing. That's all. It's not because they're women. It's just because he expects more out of his superhero characters.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
It wasn't even, okay. Either way, and I like Bruce Wayne in that too. I like his Bruce Wayne. His Batman annoys me sometimes.
I thought Batfleck was great. It just didn't get as much love.
They always make him look like a puss, man.
Well, on that note, I also have Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. This was 6.5, kind of high on my IMDb rankings there for that. 4-time Razzie winner. Worst supporting actor, Jesse Eisenberg, who I like. I actually liked him as why am I blanking on
Lex
his
Luthor.
name? Lex Luthor. Thank you. I understand people might consider him to be an annoying little pissant, which might be an appropriate way to describe him in a lot of ways, but I thought that kind of worked well.
Yeah, I thought he was fine.
I like that. I like the whole dynamic of it, although I'm not a big fan of the retelling of the opening of the Batman story. I don't think we needed that again.
How long was it though? I mean,
it's long.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, I used to own the extended version on Fios TV.
Okay.
And would just fast forward through like fast forward 15 minutes. All right, now the movie starts for me.
What's your favorite part of that movie?
Probably Ben Affleck doing the bench press and like lifting all the weights as he prepares to fight Superman, just because that's funny to me. Like he has to have like a Rocky montage theme before fighting Superman.
When Wonder Woman comes in and she and
the guitar riff, yeah.
Oh, that is sick.
It's pretty good.
I got to change that to my ringtone on my phone when I think about that. I definitely pay money for that.
You still have a ringtone on your phone? Like most other people have moved on to just mute.
Yeah, I usually have it on vibrate, but I still have that. I mean, sometimes I have my volume on.
I'm not trashing you. I'm
See,
just
sure,
asking.
how it feels like you are.
No, I have the In Search Of theme on mine.
In Search Of?
Yeah, it's the old 70s TV show hosted by Leonard Nimoy that looked into paranormal phenomena.
Oh, Wes, do you know what that he's talking
don't.
about? Okay, good.
I
All right.
don't.
All right, I'm not alone here. All right,
Let's go with a couple more here.
I got 3 more.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. I got Sleepy Hollow, 7.3 on IMDb.
So that one I also kind of raised an eyebrow about. Because I think that was well received.
It was well received. Okay, then we'll move on.
I think.
Then
Like 7.3,
that's fine. Yeah.
That's kind of high, right?
I asked you guys before, and then Tim said it was bad. I thought you said it was bad too. So
Well,
that's
I liked it. Yeah,
Well, I did
saw
have
the
it
movie in
confused with Sweeney
theaters.
Todd. So.
Okay, so I liked it. It's fine. It's not. These next 2 are definitely bad ones. These are definitely the worst ones, at least public. I guess in terms of reception. Next to Hellboy, we'll start with X-Men Origins Wolverine. I enjoy this movie. Came out in 2009.
Yeah.
6.6. I'm
Now,
surprised it was
I
a
always
6.6.
confuse myself. Is this the Asian one?
No,
Or is this the one with Liev Schreiber?
this is the one with Liev Schreiber.
Okay.
The other one is The Wolverine.
Yes.
Which
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I like that one more than I like this one. This story.
So I like the Asian one better.
This story is definitely has a lot of, like, in terms of comic accuracy, is just, I mean, completely thrown out the window pretty much. I mean, the Deadpool stuff pissed me off. Looking back
I
on
think
it,
pissed everybody off.
and I didn't know Deadpool really as well at the time because I forget how old I was at this point. I think it was a junior in high school, but I just appreciated all the lasers and everything that he did. Ryan Reynolds was funny when he was there, and I mean, honestly, all the sweet action that's in that movie. How can you hate that movie? To me, that's my thing. And Wolverine, again. At what point does the acting not play a factor in all this? Because it seems like everything Wolverine's in sucks, but Wolverine's a great Wolverine. Well, at what point does that not help the movie?
Well, if it's the only thing, that's got to be a little bit of an issue, right?
It did give us the Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman love affair too.
It did give us
point.
that, and it helped lead into the Deadpool movies, I think, too.
And perhaps the best scene from that movie is him and Sabretooth fighting through history together.
That was pretty cool.
Going through the Civil War to the World War I, World War II, all that stuff, fighting and everything together, and you kind of see them through history, and I was like, that's probably the best scene.
Deadpool pisses me off. Gambit is the one thing about that movie that's just unforgivable to me. Taylor Kitsch, I have no time for you at all. That's why I've never watched Friday Night Lights.
Oh, just out of boycotting, out of spite?
More so just because I don't want to set aside time.
He is my least favorite part of that entire show.
Really? Mm-hmm. Riggins, right?
Hated Tim Riggins.
I thought everybody loved Riggins.
Nope.
Anyways,
You got some bad movies you love?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it on this show before. Howard the Duck.
I knew you were going to mention that. Yeah.
Howard the Duck's a pretty decent movie to me. Might just be nostalgia value. Might just be Leah Thompson dressed up as a sexy rock star. Either way.
Right. Sure. Okay.
Let's see what else. The Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Yes.
Which I always thought was intentionally bad, but I recently found out they actually thought they were making a good movie when they made that. There's a great underappreciated movie from the 90s starring Ed O'Neill called Dutch. Love Dutch. Road movie. Him and what's the kid's name? Ethan. He was in That Thing You Do as the bass player, and he was in Vegas Vacation.
Oh, I can't think of his name.
But you know who I mean, the redheaded guy.
Yeah,
So he plays the kid. Great movie. Great road movie. Great holiday movie for around Thanksgiving time.
When you say road movie,
Like two people trying to get from some place to another.
like planes, trains, automobiles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I get it.
same
Okay.
idea. Like they lose their car and they're trying to get back home and all that stuff.
Okay.
Trying to think of what else is a little bit more. Well, I mentioned to Nick beforehand, Big Trouble in Little China, which
The remake was.
the remake is coming out. It's not a remake. It's going to actually be a sequel.
Okay.
But that's still in the works with The Rock. But the original with Kurt Russell is awesome. For anybody that's never seen it, but again, it's the kind of movie that people that love those movies love that movie. So I just think it's bad to most people on the surface because they don't realize that it's supposed to be kitschy on purpose.
Sure. Okay.
And then Showgirls is I think.
Oh, that's an all-time. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that in the theater. Had to sneak in. It was NC-17.
Trench coat. Was it really NC-17?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I was I wasn't 17 yet when it came out. I was still in high school.
Now, were you a Saved by the Bell fan?
Not a fan, but I watched it.
Right,
'Cause
Jessie. What was her name?
Jessie Spano.
Jessie Spano. Thank you.
My
yes.
sisters watched it all the time, so I saw every. It was one of those shows where I mistakenly watched it and introduced it to my sisters, and then hated the fact that I did.
I see.
Which I also did with the original Degrassi. Which the original Degrassi, like way
Right
back
before
in the
Drake
80s,
and
the
Little
80s
Jimmy in a
version, yeah.
wheelchair.
So I'm just trying to think of any other like more recent movies. Oh, Freddy Got Fingered.
I just showed Julia the scene of the "Daddy, would you like some sausage?" and
That's what I remember the most out of that.
yeah, that's the most famous one. I think that was like a 9-time Razzie nominated movie in the year that it came out. And ironically, a lot of these movies that I had on my list are all from like the 2010 year, like 4 or 5 from like 2010 was just like a bad year for movies.
Another one just celebrated its 30th anniversary. UHF,
yeah.
starring Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh.
So I personally think it's a fantastic movie.
Weird Al Yankovic. Is it Yankovic?
Yankovic.
I thought it was Vitch.
I did
no,
too.
it's Vic Yankovic.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
so the Weird Al movie is he gets control of a television station, and because they don't have the money to actually afford any programming, he creates all his own. And it leads to some very hilarious shows and commercials and movie parodies and all that, like Gandhi 2, where Gandhi is like a Rambo type character.
I could have seen that coming.
Conan the Librarian.
Dude's got an endless list.
Okay, I got that. Yeah.
It's one of those movies where it's worth, like, especially somebody like you, Wes, that likes to partake in certain substances before watching a film.
Well, okay.
If you did that and watched this movie, it would just be a hell of a night for you.
Okay. I enjoy that.
So, Wes, I have one left, and it's definitely the top of my list, but you have a few more than that. I thought you had 12.
I had a couple on here. You know, I have Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans, again, kind of falling into that mythological, Roman, Greek god sort of
Liam
thing.
Neeson's in one of those, right?
Yes.
What about the original from the 80s?
I never saw that. I'm just a Sam Worthington type of guy.
It has that stop motion animation.
Right, yeah, and I could kind of picture that.
I saw that in
as
high
well.
school, and I saw one of yours too, Wes.
But I couldn't sit through all of that. That would just be a bad like that. I wouldn't be able to get through it. Another one that I had was Lethal Weapon 4. I had Grown Ups on there, but we kind of talked about that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Grown Ups, of course, was filmed right in our backyard in Water Whiz.
Yeah, that's right.
Lethal Weapon 4, was that the one with Jet Li?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was terrible.
Yeah, it was arguably it was the last of the Lethal Weapons, but I love it. You know, it's nominated for 1 Razzie, which was Worst Supporting Actor, Joe Pesci. 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 There's no H there, guys.
But it's an Italian thing.
I know, it was a joke.
That's the most recent. That's the last Lethal Weapon movie to date. Supposedly they're working on another one.
Well, yeah, and unless you're a fan of It's Always Sunny, then you have 5 and 6 out there, of course. But Lethal Weapon 4, I think I saw that in theaters, and my aunt fell asleep through it.
I was a big Lethal Weapon fan, and even I had to be like, this is terrible.
But again, always on TV, and I always stop and watch scenes on it.
Right?
Chris Rock was in there. Yeah. Yep.
So did you leave that? You said that the cinema when you watched that movie?
No. My aunt fell asleep, but I did go see that in theaters.
The first movie I ever walked out of, I'm curious if this is classified as a bad movie or not. Babe. I walked out of that as a little kid.
Oh, Babe is a good movie.
I hated that movie as a kid. I had no time for it.
People love that movie. I've never seen it.
I remember telling my grandmother I was like 5.
I think that was nominated for an Oscar.
I hated it.
I think he actually won. I think James what's-his-face won for that movie.
Yeah. Oh, Best Supporting Actor?
I think it sucked. I hate Babe.
That'll do, Pig. Yeah, I think he hates being referred to in that, like, oh, I loved you in Pig. And he, like, hates that movie. Like he'll get pissed at you if you say that.
Really?
Yeah, I believe Marcos Estevez said that to me on Twitter. I shared that little nugget.
The Boxers podcast.
Yes.
And then you had one more.
Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting one. So this is the only movie on my list that was nominated for both an Oscar and the Razzie. So this was Armageddon from 1998. I think a blockbuster movie, a lot of financial success. It was nominated for Best Sound, Best Effects, both sound and visual, and then Best Music by the Oscars. And then 7-time nominated for the Razzies, including Worst Actor with Bruce Willis, he won. Worst Picture, Worst Screen Couple, Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler. Worst Supporting Actress in Liv Tyler. Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, and Worst Original Song.
I give it the Razzie for that.
But it wasn't that like Aerosmith's only #1 song ever on the billboards?
What song was
It
it?
might have only been.
Like, I don't want to close my eyes. Like,
I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was a remake from a country song, though. I don't know if it was an original.
I believe it was. Diane Warren wrote it years before.
I like that song.
So I think
though.
some other people had recorded it before, but like they,
Gotcha. They popularized it.
they put their Aerosmith spin on it.
So
Right.
I got two things about the Razzie stuff. One, I gotta imagine for a director more than anybody on here, this got to be like the biggest shot in the heart. It's like, oh, dude, worst director. Oh God, it's just these people are
And
so
it depends.
hoity-toity.
I don't know. I think it depends on. I would agree with you, but it depends on that person, like how conceited they are.
Yeah,
And I would imagine if you're a director, you have to be like pretty conceited.
that's why I think that.
But
yes.
maybe you're self-aware and you're like, this is funny. Like,
Maybe.
I think some directors understand like it's a job.
Right.
Yeah,
And so when they look at the film, they're like, I don't really like it's a job to me. Mm-hmm. Like, and they're not looking to remake Citizen Kane when they
Right.
go out and do it. I get the feeling some director, like I think Edgar Wright is a guy like that, where like, hey, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, I'll have fun with it too.
And I'm still getting paid at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. The other one was specifically to Armageddon. Who thought that Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler would make a good couple on screen or in any capacity?
Well, they were the two of the hottest actors in Hollywood.
doesn't
at the time.
matter. That just doesn't make sense to me at all.
I distinctly remember the animal crackers on the belly button scene. I thought that was very what's the word? Awakening. I think that was a nice scene. They're in an open field together. The world's about to end. Mm-hmm. They have some delicious animal crackers, which might be cookies. Like, let's face it, they're not crackers.
They really are cookies. Yes, I agree.
They have some. That's a nice aphrodisiac in some circles.
The perfect aphrodisiac, actually, some would
Right?
say.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I have one saved for last, and this is my favorite one on my list. That's
Okay.
the one that if it's on, I'm gonna watch it. But I'm curious before I say mine. Do you know which one yours is on your list, or do you want me to go with mine first?
No, I think I like them all. That's why I put them on the list.
Is that one you prefer over others, though?
The one I prefer all over all rest. Well,
That's what I mean.
Let's go with Armageddon.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I really do love Armageddon. You get Steve Buscemi in there, who's like, I think he's a pedophile. Like I'm not sure, but it's like it's 1998, so it's kind of laughed off. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
So my favorite came out in 2004. Has a 6.1 on IMDb. Because I wrote BD down for all of them, like a dumbass.
Yes.
Van Helsing.
Oh yeah,
Featuring Hugh Jackman.
sure.
Kate Beckinsale, who, God, thank you so much for breaking her and Pete Davidson up because I still have a chance. But I love that was when he was still Wolverine. So like I'm watching him, half waiting for the claws to come out, half just looking at him to be a badass the entire time.
Right. What's a good way to kill vampires?
Oh, exactly.
If they're silver.
Yes, exactly. You would think adamantium would be.
I think so. Have maybe a little silver mixed in there.
Yeah, it's got to help a little
I
bit.
think it's a completely different element. Silver
think you should
is
shut
one
up.
element, and adamantium's another.
Look at that. Your mic's not working. It's
I
weird.
can- I can
Hasn't
talk
happened in a long
louder.
time. Yeah, can you? What if I just turn it off completely?
I
Don't
know
yell,
how, I know
I
how to
have-
override the board.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that. I don't have any power.
The man in the chair. The man in the chair. Never forget that.
Man. But I love the action from it. There is definitely some terrible acting when I look back at it. And I mean, for the year it came out, and you want to criticize the CGI and stuff, I don't think that's fair. It's just the times were
Right,
different.
yeah.
So whenever this comes on, though, Wes, I mean, if I'm not doing any work, I am sitting down, getting ready. It's a commercial break. I'm getting water,
Soaking up a
loading
couple, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love this one.
I see. I never saw that movie either, so I can't really give you much crap for it.
I know it's not a good movie, so I wouldn't recommend it to you, and I don't think you would like it.
Okay.
I'm sure you would say, if you'd seen it, you would say, Nick, how the hell did you like this movie? Tim, have you seen it?
It's like the According to Jim of vampire hunting movies.
I did like
think
Saved
we've
by
hit
the
the
Bell.
over.
Yeah, you did hit the over, and you said it at record time too.
Right.
Next episode, you're going to start off with, I got the According to Jim guy next to you.
Yes,
next to me
and
here.
according to Jim's #1 fan, Nick Fryer.
I did like Saved by the Bell, by the way. Did you like that?
Saved by the Bell?
Yeah, growing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do find the Zach Morris.
Zach Morris is
trash. I do find
those
that
are
funny.
really good.
Yeah, those are funny.
Wait, what is it?
I see them on Facebook.
Yeah, so it's a video series that I think it's originally from Funny or Die,
Okay.
Maybe.
and it's called Zach Morris's Trash, and it's a guy who's like Zach Morris is trash, and it's like he takes episodes of Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
And like breaks them all down to prove to you that it just shows what an a-hole Zach Morris was.
And
so it's never like about the lessons that he learns. It's always about like, here he is trying to screw this guy over, and then trying to screw over a deaf girl, and like it's when you watch it, you're like,
Yep. Yeah, honestly, Wes, as much as it annoys me that this exists, it's like, this is kind of accurate. I mean, this whole Screech thing, too, when he starts dating Lisa, it's a whole thing. But anyways, moving on to our 3v3 this week. I think I finally found one that I am proud of this week. We'll see what you guys have to say.
It's a close one.
So I have Blade, the Blob, and Huntress versus Nightcrawler, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and General Grievous. Wes, would you like to start things off?
Can I guess? Because you usually do this with 1, 5, 6 versus 2, 3, 4.
Something to that effect. Yeah, I try and mix in that range.
Can I guess your top 3, your 1 through 6?
Yes. Go ahead.
Nightcrawler number 1.
Okay. I'm not gonna say yes or no yet. Or do you want me
Blade 2.
Okay.
Blob 3. Huntress 4. Buffy 5. Or General Grievous 5. Buffy 6.
Not in my book. I actually have Blade as number 1. I actually have Buffy as my number 2. Then I have Nightcrawler as my 3.
You think Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as what was presented to me in the TV show by Sarah Michelle Gellar, is number 2 on this list.
Dude, she was unstoppable in that show. She was clunky and everything. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, her fighting style was worse than
Does that translate into, let's say, Blade's world or Nightcrawler's world or even General Grievous's world?
She killed vampires. Yes, it translates.
I think she's the first one to go.
First of all, the rest of them aren't vampires.
I love Huntress, but I think Huntress is the first one to go. Blob actually maybe should be number 2. That might have been an oversight on my part. But Nightcrawler, like the thing is, the Huntress is an awesome 6, and I feel like Blade is definitely the number 1 in my book.
Oh my God.
What?
I'd put Grievous as number 6.
Really?
Yeah, Grievous isn't. He's nothing.
He kills Jedi. I think this is a better argument. This is a better argument to have than the 3v3.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd say he kills Jedi. I mean, I think he got lucky and beat some pretty weak Jedi.
They're still Jedi, dude.
And he doesn't really.
Can you beat a Jedi?
He doesn't really know how to use the lightsabers. He just collects them.
He put up a pretty good fight against Obi-Wan. Did he not?
Also, he has that chronic cough.
Oh.
So he's
a
probably,
smoker.
He could be dying.
So you're going to hold that against him because he's a smoker, Tim?
Well, maybe he doesn't have the stamina.
So you're saying he's beneath you because he's a smoker?
All smokers are beneath me.
Wow.
That's out there.
Smoking is a terrible habit.
It is
and you've never done it in your life.
The only thing worse than a smoker is a vapor.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you can trash vapors if you want. But Grievous, dude, I mean, he put up a good fight against Obi-Wan. Do you not remember that?
I do remember that.
Obi-Wan was pretty legit.
That would be in that Star Wars movie that I think is the worst one of all time.
The Revenge of the Sith?
No, Attack of the Clones he was in, wasn't he?
No.
I'm pretty sure he was in Attack of the Clones.
No, I know he wasn't in. No, he wasn't in Attack. No. Oh, wait. Yes, he wasn't. No, that was in the Executed Order 66.
Don't look at me for those.
No, that was Revenge of the Sith. Order 66 was, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to pull it up right now. I bet money on this.
Either way, I happen to think, I think it's Blade, the Blob, and Huntress. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
The Blob is my ultimate shield.
That's
Blade, I think, takes out Buffy the Vampire Slayer because he is not full vampire, so he would not be fully susceptible to any of her wooden stakes that she may or may not have.
Good point.
Okay. And then I think the Huntress...
That's actually a really good point.
...is a really good marksman.
Yeah.
Expert marksman. Take down General Grievous from afar, bam, right there. Nightcrawler would be the toughest one. But I'm not sure if Nightcrawler can move the Blade. Or the Blob, rather.
That one, so real quick aside, I was right. He's in episode 3. So suck on that one, Tim. Second,
okay.
The Blob, Nightcrawler can, so I'm going to go with Nightcrawler on this one. Nightcrawler can absolutely move Blob wherever the hell he needs to. It's not about weight. It's just a matter of being able to see where he's going. So he can get him out of that fight.
I think
he does have to lay hands on him, though.
Oh, he's got to do, but he doesn't have to carry him. He just has to be touching him.
Right, but he has to be able to get close.
And Nightcrawler couldn't get close. I mean, Blob is not some
I'm not
fleet
saying
of
that
foot guy.
saying that he couldn't. I'm just saying, like, lay out the actual facts.
So that's fine. So he can get close to him and get him out of the fight, at least for the short term, and then he can go and deal with Blade and help Buffy out. And I would think that he can get close enough to Blade where he can help Buffy. Grievous is getting so much shade right now.
Yeah, well, he's a droid, you know. And as we move closer and closer to automation in this world, then I have to be very anti-robot.
You know what, Wes? That is the most important point that you've ever raised in this entire show, and I will concede this argument to you because I am so anti-robot. I'm not even
General Grievous also racist.
What?
Asian? He had kind of a racist accent.
You know,
too.
if you watch the Clone Wars show, he wasn't originally robot. I mean, I think that's kind of you know.
Okay. It's like his conscious was like uploaded into it.
There's still some like not human but like living being in there, and he was so obsessed with continuing to be the best fighter in the world that he turned himself into robot more and more. And I think if you look back on it, he actually does have like that.
Did it ever explain the cough?
No, I don't remember ever explaining the cough. I don't know what the point of that was.
The cough will forever bother me.
I think
the cough was annoying.
The name of General Grievous just sounds like someone who complains a lot to like different social media accounts on Twitter. Like, excuse me, Uber support. My Uber did not pick me up exactly where I was.
Yeah, that's a screen name.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Tim, are you on Wes's side in this one?
Wes was with the first team.
Yes, yeah,
I
Blade
agree.
the Blob.
I agree.
Huntress,
I think the real fight comes down to the athleticism of Huntress and Nightcrawler.
Oh, yeah. If it comes down to that, then Nightcrawler's going to win every time.
See, Nightcrawler was my number one, my top seed in this.
So how did you rank it? You said it was Nightcrawler,
Blade. Blob, Huntress, Grievous, Buffy.
The Huntress one, I'm surprised at you. I mean, I like that you feel that highly about Huntress.
See, he's not as sexist as you thought he was.
She is in the comics. As much I don't say this about comic characters, but she's always hot in the comic. I got to give her that.
Okay,
I'm telling you got to see that original Birds of Prey series.
When was that?
Well, we got to be getting a trailer for the movie soon. I think.
Yes,
the original series did not last long, but you would enjoy it. It was really well done.
Oh, it must be on DC Universe. I'll have to go and look for that somewhere.
I hope so. It was a WB show.
I'll have to see if I can get some access to that. But in the course of this, we've had a lot of other stuff going on, Wes. Of course. What else has been on your mind?
I bought. This might be a tough take here. So I bought Avengers Endgame on digital.
Ooh, digital.
Yeah. So, watch it on Xfinity, Comcast on demand.
Yep.
Over the weekend. I'm not sure about the rewatchability of it all. I fell asleep through it multiple times. It's very heavy. I find myself just kind of like, all right, get me to the next exciting part in this movie.
Because it doesn't mean anything anymore.
I think we already know it. Yeah, we already know what's happening.
Did you watch the final act?
Of course. Hour? The last hour, 45 minutes, whatever, the fight scenes and everything. Like, yes, absolutely.
See that?
When they go back in time, Battle of New York, yes, absolutely. The chopping off of Thanos' head, yes, absolutely. But there's like the in-between parts that just, everything is so down and like serious. And I don't know. And the stakes are so high that it needs that momentum of not knowing what's going to happen next.
That is fair. But I will say the final hour that's easily rewatchable,
right?
No matter what, because the nonstop
Absolutely.
action of that is, that stuff is nuts. Looking at it, Wes, I don't think that's that hot of a take. I think people will realize that because it's still it was 3 hours, right?
Yeah, it's a long time. Like 3 sittings it took me.
Mm-hmm. I wonder with these movies now if they really care about how much the DVD is purchased or the Blu-ray, all that stuff.
Right. Well, obviously, I mean, it got $1 billion anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever, the highest grossing movie of all time. Whatever.
Oh, you mean box office? Yeah.
It was like what, 3 billion, 2.8.
It passed Avatar.
Like that. Whatever it is. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's all that matters. I would think at the end in these things, DVD not as important. That is a bold take, though.
I just kept like wondering, like, I don't really care about this movie, and I was so excited. Like, I had the whole night to myself on Saturday, so I was like, all right, this is great. I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch Avengers Endgame.
Nice.
And I fell asleep through it.
You know what you could have done was you could have had a couple comic books with you, read that, break it up a little bit, try something different. 15 minutes. It'll never happen. I know. I'm going to keep trying though, Wes. I'm going to keep holding out hope. speaking of movies, I finally watched Kingsman because I had not seen this yet.
The first one? Or both of them?
First one.
Okay.
I don't know if the second one is easily accessible. This was on like FX or something like
I
that.
see.
So, oh man. Now I understand why
You
everybody
liked it?
loved it. That was so
It was an awesome
good.
movie.
Oh my god, the action.
Yeah.
What's his name? The main actor's name?
Taron Egerton.
Taron Egerton.
Eggy in the movie.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, I am so in on Eggy. He was awesome. I got to see the second one,
Eggsy,
too.
actually. Eggy is
what they
the
mock him as.
derogatory name.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a few surprises mixed in there for sure. Probably something that I should have seen coming,
Mm-hmm.
but I was just so caught up in the moment the entire movie.
Did you like Samuel L. Jackson's lisp?
I thought it was fine. I mean,
Or his like choice and accent?
You know
Yeah.
what? I like the choice because Samuel L. Jackson, if he's just him talking normally,
Right.
I expect him to be a badass who's going to come in as my terrible Samuel L. Jackson, but
But I really liked the lisp. I thought that worked.
yeah, I do think it worked. I mean, I mean, in the sense of to separate him from what he normally is, yes, it was perfect actually. Also, real quick, I don't know if you saw this, and I should have shown you a picture of it, but I saw an artist rendering.
Oh, I saw you post this on Twitter. Actually.
It was on
Yeah.
Twitter. Okay,
Yep.
that's right. I did put it up there. It looks like a CGI kind of rendering of the Street Sharks. I'd be so in on this movie. And they look great too. I don't know if did you watch the show at all as a kid?
I did. I just would request that they get rid of the gills.
Okay,
If they're going to be out of water, you don't need the gills.
that's a fair point. They are like humanoid sharks.
Are they swimming?
No, but maybe they can swim also, and then they have a power. They can,
okay, so that's my clarify because I don't remember them swimming in the show.
Oh, I don't remember. No, that's right. They're street sharks. I think you're right. I definitely had a couple of those action figures as a kid too.
No, I did. They're awesome. Yeah.
Last thing, Boston Fan Expo is coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I will be there, so if any of our listeners are there, I'll be there on Saturday. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter at @Fry_Guy1 or at Change My Mind Pod on Twitter. DM us there, and I will see if I can come say hi to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to that.
I think that does, and we have a great episode lined up for you for next week, which is to be determined.
What's his favorite kind?
I'm thoroughly excited. Tim, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for next week?
11.5.
There you go. He's got it.
Oh, my.
That's some Spinal Tap reference, maybe?
So these go to 11.
Yes.
11 is one more than 10.
That's right. There we go. Now we're talking. But yeah, go say hi to Nick. Boston Fan Expo.